Go ahead and say all of that wild shit online, man. You might need a Dr. Phil if you catch me outside. And I will not apologize if you ain't one of mine, fam. I cannot afford to give a fuck if it was finance.
Everything woke turns to shit.
We're going to get into our big segment, our final segment. Every episode here, we're going to have a special segment. We're going to teabag somebody. We're going to have a little teabagging. Someone, something, some article, some event, somebody, whatever, that just really needs to hear something. And we're going to give you what we like to refer to as a teabagging, but it's a verbal teabagging of sorts. We're just going to lay into it. And today, on the very first episode, it's a very special one. We thought we'd start right at the, well, I guess it's not the tippy top, but it's one of the tops. You know, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. And today we're teabagging old grovelsome Nuisance, a.k.a. Gavin Newsom.
They also call him the hair jail governor.
the used car salesman governor.
Dude.
What a greaseball. Okay, this guy, he is garbage. He is just, he's fake, he's phony, he's plastic. I think he's about as atomically correct as a Ken doll. Go ahead.
He's got to have something going there because in 2000 and let's see here, 4, I think it was, he got caught having an affair with his campaign manager's wife, which is actually his best friend. And I just wonder what.
That's right. That's when they paid her hush money, or tried to at least, or whatever.
What kind of douchebag bangs his best friend's old lady, or any friend's old lady? You know.
Yeah.
And you're married.
Yeah.
And this guy keeps getting freaking elected over and over and over again. I don't get it, dude.
You know, wherever he goes, it's like New York. You know, he's the reason the 49ers aren't in San Francisco. I hated that guy since then. Because the Niners had a great spot that they wanted to build a stadium. He's like, no, I got plans. He had plans for that fucking chunk of land. He said, you can go build over here, which ended up being like an ex-waste dump site. And they were like, we're not going to fucking build there. And Santa Clara was like, hey, you can build anywhere you want. I can't blame him for going down the street, like, fuck this. But it's like, go ahead.
You know about Aunt Nan, right?
Oh, yeah. Auntie Nancy?
Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House.
But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name.
Nancy Antoinette?
His aunt. Do you know the name Jim Brown? He's related to them also. If you really get down and start looking into the names and stuff, Jim Brown's sister is actually the governor of Oregon right now, as a matter of fact, which is having besides Seattle, is having one of the biggest Antifa problems in the nation right now, as a matter of fact.
I think Portland's top, wouldn't you say?
Portland is top. Yeah. Portland, the Rose City Antifa, dude. Those guys, they stop at
hellhole Portland's become.
Yeah, I went through Portland a little while ago.
Really?
Probably about 5 months ago. Yeah, I went up to a little bit past Seattle. And
you went to your buddy. That's right.
I went through Portland and Seattle, and both places. I didn't go into the towns. I just went through them on the interstate, but it's just miles and miles of freaking homeless encampments. And on the side of the freeway, I can only imagine what it looks like on the other side. The other side, you know what I'm saying?
But back to
I digress. I apologize. Yeah. So he was in 2003. Newsom was elected the 42nd mayor of San Francisco, and he was only 36 years old. So he was the youngest mayor in San Francisco in over a century. He won re-election with like a 72%, blah blah blah. But that was before the bullshit started with his wife. he owns a lot of businesses. Most of them were given to him, but it doesn't say that here. He owns Pl- uh, Plumpjack Wineries. It's on Oakville Crossroad in Napa. He owns.
Oh, he owns that?
Yeah, that's his. Uh, he's got another one, and he's got merch is what a lot of his businesses. Plumpjack Wine Shops, Plumpjack Sports Retail Clothing, Plumpjack Bar and Grill. These are all the businesses that he owns, and it's probably all in one spot. But he's clever about his taxes and stuff, so you put it all into different businesses, so that way your employee number and
Diversify your portfolio.
your tax rate aren't the same. Anyways, yeah, so he got caught banging his freaking best friend's old lady during the campaign, and they still reelected him. Now,
Mhm.
if he doesn't need some nuts on his head,
Well, that's just because
I don't know who does.
Well, that's just because the left and the media told California to do it, just like they did now. We had a chance to get rid of that guy and actually put somebody in that might do something, and California dropped the ball again. Why? Because fucking like $80 million, tons of money, huge sponsor, speaker. Biden came down and gave
Kamala did too.
Kamala,
And
all kinds of stuff.
Aunt Nan was making, yeah, they
Yeah,
pulled out the
all
entire Democrat war
the
party
whole
off.
arsenal. Yeah, the whole
Everybody.
arsenal.
There was nobody else they could have called that would have,
No,
and
Obama got involved. Obama got involved, man.
I
And
think
it's like, and it's just like, do people not see what's going on in in the state? It's like he puts in mask mandates and then goes out to dinner at the French Laundry unmasked with the people that the campaign people that are like giving him money and shit to do this stuff. Okay, do you know why we have power outages against the state? Because PG&E is a huge backer of Newsom, and they paid him, and he allowed them to not be responsible, and he allows them to shut the PG&E off every year instead of fixing the problems. Okay, that's what's.
not only that, he shut down like 8 fire camps right before this.
We had a huge prison system, fire camp system.
And it was right before this massive fire, the biggest I think in California, if not the United States history.
And that's one of the reasons we have fires. That on top of poor fire cleanup system, and actually none. Like I drive around up here in Lake County, and we drive around, and it's just it's like 3 feet tall of dead grass in between every town, and I'm like, why are there not somebody out here, and not here but everywhere in the state, just weed whacking? Get to fucking weed whacking right now. Like, what are we waiting for? Pay someone to do this, and then this shit won't happen.
And look at our roads. Do you know how much taxes we pay? This gas tax, Newsom like championed this fucking gas tax, and it was worded wrong on the ballot on purpose. Let's step back a second. I remember when the lottery started in California with scratchers and the balls, and it was a big controversy, gambling, blah blah blah. California was a red state then. Now this is back in like '82 or '83 or something like that. So it started, and everybody said,
82, that's the year I was born.
and so I got memories older than you, big guy. Anyway, everybody, the reason it went through, what they used to get it to go through was they said, well, all this money is going to go to our schools. Not all this money, all the majority of the revenue, like the proceeds after all the bills are paid, are going to schools. And this other section's going to the roads. And then shortly thereafter, the lottery went into effect. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. Many taxes later, now California's blue. And specifically what I was getting at was this gas tax that we have now. The freaking legislature can arbitrarily raise this gas tax without any sort of consensus from the population. That douchebag Newsom championed this shit. So when everybody goes to the gas pump and they wonder why they're paying $1.50, $2.50 more than they were last year, it's not all completely Biden's fault. A lot of it falls on Newsom here in California. If you drive in any direction into another state, you're not going to be paying as much for gas. And it's seriously, it's like $1.50, $1.80 an gallon in California taxes alone that we're paying a gallon.
Yeah. But Biden didn't help canceling that pipeline and some
No.
more shit, and we'll get into that one of these days too, you know. But more to Newsom, it's like, you know, mandates, all these vaccine mandates and mask mandates. I'm sorry that you're not following the science. It is not the science. Science doesn't tell you that. Did you know that in New Zealand, was it New Zealand? Shoot, I might be wrong on that. Damn it, I should check. I just watched it earlier today, and now maybe I'm just second guessing myself. Anyway. And this is just speculation. I mean, it's not speculation. These are fact, but they use different criteria. When someone dies, when they should be marked with their death, but with COVID, they still mark it down as COVID. You get what I'm saying? Like if you die of a car accident, but you have COVID, they put it down as COVID.
You have a heart attack, but you have COVID, so it was a COVID death.
Yes.
They were doing that here for a while.
Whereas if you die from the vaccine, right? But you had something else at the same time, like you have cancer, but the vaccine kills you. They put it down as you died of cancer.
Right.
So it's different. But anyway, if they actually use the same criteria, they had like 20-something deaths actually due to COVID, like, and not just with COVID, but you can say with COVID, but of COVID, 20, but they had 40-something with the vaccine.
Yeah.
So they actually had twice as many deaths with the vaccine than they had of just the COVID. And anyway, go ahead, because I don't want to get into vaccines today unless you want to.
No, let's stick with Newsom.
Yeah, because I want to stick with Newsom, then we'll cut it. Yeah. Which the only reason I was just trying to give context, like, so it's not science. We don't know the science yet. Anyone who says we know science, we don't know science. There's no long-term. So anyway, forcing these vaccines, forcing this stuff, 41st in the nation in education. 41st in the nation in education. You know, most kids out there can't even read and write, and now they're starting to want to get rid of. Oregon already did it. I hear we're wanting to do it. Newsom wants to do it. Like, get rid of reading, writing, and arithmetic criterias in school. There are 3 things you're supposed to learn when you go to school: reading, writing, and arithmetic. Everything else is just extra shit. Like, that's what you need to survive in life.
This has been coming for the past 15, 25 years, dude. They want people just smart enough to pull the levers and push the buttons and do what they're told. That's all they want.
But pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. As the great and powerful Newsom once said. I mean, Oz.
Don't question anything. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
don't look at this hand.
You know, I was just reading something here on Wikipedia about Newsom. The California had despite all the super strict mandates and bullshit, and mandates aren't laws, by the way. Despite all the tough ones we had in California, we had the 29th highest death rate out of all 50 states.
Yeah.
So, the places like Montana and Idaho and who knows where else, where there was no mandate, there was just a sign on the door saying, we'd like you to wear a mask. Nothing saying you can't come in here without wearing a mask. They had lower numbers than us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it blows my mind that California just elected to stick with this. Like we're blind to what's going on. We're blind. Like, oh no.
You know what? If we had the electoral college in our state like we do in the nation, and every county was represented equally, this shit wouldn't happen anymore. This guy is, and all of them are being, because of a metropolis like LA, San Jose, San Francisco, and so there's so many people in this one little city that are getting all of these freaking benefits and shit for the person they're voting for saying, I'll give you more. Well, hell, I'd vote for him too if I was dependent on that shit. And it's not, our current system is not representative of the actual people, the regions.
No. And another thing, he didn't do it, but you're telling me the man didn't step in and go, what the fuck are you doing? When the new mayor of San Francisco just thought it was a great idea to decriminalize theft under like $900. It's not even a crime. It's not even a misdemeanor. It's like, you can just steal like $900 worth of shit and you're cool with it.
Yeah.
And
and they're cashless bail, dude. They take your name and your number, you're out. If you do get arrested.
And Newsom didn't. I was just sitting there and goes, you know what? That's a good idea. I support that in my state. Hey, I'm an ex-criminal, ex-con. You know this shit. That shit sounds cool to me. Not for good reasons, though. Like, I want to go do crime. Which luckily I'm retired from. I'm retired from all that shit, so, it's like, but technically it's not even a crime anymore. You can just go to Frisco and walk in, grab a sandwich and a bag of chips and walk out, I'm starting to cuss now. Excuse me, I'm getting excited. When I get excited during teabagging, the cussing might come out more.
When you said that, you reminded me I don't know if you've seen that meme, or not meme, but that video. There's a seagull walks into a convenience market and takes the fucking bag of chips and just walks outside and starts eating it, dude. That.
With all the cunning and guile you can imagine, the Birdman of Aberdeen's pilfered more than 20 bags in the last few weeks, always tangy cheese Doritos.
It's only Doritos. It's normally the cheese one that's stuck right right next to the window. I think it's just the orange packet. It seems like the colour just goes for it, and it's every day it's the same packet.
Do you think it's the same one, or is it a gang maybe?
I think it's the same one. I seem to recognise it every time. It gives you the look every time when it's coming in.
Dude, that's San Francisco people now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next time I go spend a day in San Francisco, I'm not paying for lunch. Know that.
And you got to make sure you download. There's an app.
Pay for lunch, people.
There's an app you can download too that'll show you where all the piles of shit are on the streets, so you can make. I swear to God, there is. It's a fact. I can't remember the name of it. We got to put it in there.
I can remember when I lived down there and I went to the culinary school. Remember that stuff, man? And the school was on Polk and Turk.
I remember coming down there, yeah.
And I lived up on Bush and frickin' Turk of the Tenderloin. Was it Turk or was it Polk? I can't remember which one goes this way and that way. Like Polk goes this way now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was on one end of Tenderloin, was the other. And I'm telling you, you walk down the street, every alley smells like a fucking porta potty. Just smells like piss and shit. And there's people, and like, I mean, hey, I've been homeless. I get it. I've been a homeless person in my life too. There's a lot of layers to this onion. But never like that. Never just shitting in the middle of the street in front of everybody. Like, no, you go find a bathroom or you go find somewhere. Like, there's ways to be clean even if you're homeless. You ever heard of baby wipes? I used to take baby wipe baths all the time. Maybe it's not as clean as a shower or a steam bath or something, but believe me, you can get into all your nooks and crannies with a baby wipe and you will smell baby fresh, I promise.
Why do you always want to talk about your nooks and crannies, man?
I just like to bring them up for the ladies.
The ladies.
Yeah. But yeah, so Gavin Newsom, you, sir, are a fucking D-bag, and you get the T-bag. Now, fact off, everybody.
Fact off.
Go ahead and say all of that wild shit online, man. You might need a Dr. Phil if you catch me outside. And I will not apologize if you ain't one of mine, fam. I cannot afford to give a fuck if it was finance.
Everything woke turns to shit.